As the countdown continues in the last phase of consultations, being 120 days, taken from April 17th of 2021, in the constitutional force majeure implementation that was deployed and activated on the 16th of December in 2020. Questions are coming, inquiries are coming in torrents from everywhere our people live across the face of the globe about this constitution they have come now to realize is the source of everything they want to terminate in their lives. Whether it's the ones asking for Odua Republic or the ones asking for Biafra Republic or the ones singing restructuring as song or the ones agitating for resource control in the Niger Delta, they've all come to realize that the first order of business is to break the cage in which they are held, because nothing will change as long as that constitution that ties everybody leg and hand is in place. And so the question that has emerged, which we are now here to answer, is now that we have all agreed that the constitution has to go down, what exactly do we have to do to take the constitution down? Because it is from the point we take it down that we can go to other things, including the question of security and insecurity, the armed self-defense, because what the constitutional force majeure did was to activate the self-determination rights at the level that should accommodate the constituent part of it that has to do with self-defense, the armed self-defense part of our right to self-determination. Right to armed self-defense is an integral part of the right to self-determination. And so they are asking, what exactly do we need to do to take down this constitution to activate that right to self-determination at the level of armed self-defense? So the answer to it is simple. We see that constitution is the source of every pain. We see that constitution, the life of that constitution is renewed once every 4 years by election. We know that only political parties contest elections. We know that all the political parties in Nigeria subscribe to that constitution, 1999, all of them without exception. We therefore know that whoever wins in any other election, particularly the one in 2023, will have to swear to defend, uphold, and govern by the 1999 Constitution. So no matter who wins, no matter how good he may appear compared with the bad ones before, he will have to swear as a condition for accessing the office, as a condition for taking, the power, as a condition for, as part of the swearing in, as part of how to activate the powers that will be vested in him in the period of that governance, he will have to swear to defend and uphold that constitution. And so, knowing all of this, does it not present itself in clear terms that we cannot be crying about the killings coming from that constitution? We cannot be crying about the impoverishment ensured by that constitution. We cannot be crying about the corruption flowing from that constitution, and at the same time be planning for how to go to renew the life of that constitution by way of election in 2023, knowing fully well that it is only by the mechanism of election that the life of that constitution is renewed. And so NINAS invites us, as part of this consultation that is ongoing, that will come to termination on the 16th of December, the 16th of August, 2021, to step forward and join the task of shutting down the Voyage to 2023 as a strategy and mechanism for ending the fraud of 1999. I repeat, NINAS invites you today in July of 2021 to come forward if you are one of those who believe that we should end the unitary union of death and retrieve our right to self-determination, our sovereignty, to work out fresh protocols amongst ourselves in whatever formations we agree. If you are one of those who believe that it must be union of equal partnership going forward, if you're one of those who believe it must be a union in which our life is held sacrosanct and all men are treated equal, this address is, of course, going to the peoples of the New South, the Alliance. The map you see here is separated between the Sharia Caliphate, the Sharia North, and the Alliance, the New South, which we call the Alliance Territory. We invite you today to come forward. If you want to end your enslavement, your bondage, we invite you today to come forward to help in stopping the journey, in ending the voyage of renewing the life of that 1999 Constitution once yet again in 2023. And that action of stopping the voyage has to happen inside the third quarter of 2021. That third quarter began on the 1st of July in 2021 and will end on the 30th of September in 2021. We invite you to come now. The international community to which we have explained, including the UN, where we have this petition of the constitutional force majeure, the UN Security Council, we opened a petition, NINAS opened a petition addressed to the UN Security Council and the US government and other institutions, EU, for what we are doing to extricate ourselves from the union of death. So the global community is waiting for us to confirm that we have rejected this constitution. You remember we've, by solemn assemblies, repudiated the document. We have defeated the 1999 constitution. That's what that constitutional force majeure of 16 December actually accomplished. Now, how will it the people who are in the torment, the people who have been killed in the Middle Belt, the ones whose oil and gas assets have been seized in the Niger Delta, the ones in Yoruba land who have been killed and chased into IDP camps in Benin Republic from Yewa, all of them are not, they do not yet see that constitution that brings that enemy that is killing them, that is chasing them around, that's tormenting them, invading them, marauding them, they do not yet know that that constitution is dead. And both our people and the international community, will have to see what is it we can do to demonstrate that the constitution, because we say the constitution is dead, but there are people still blowing siren, sharing the process of 3 million barrels of crude oil sales from 3 million barrels of crude oil every month in Abuja, daily sale every month in Abuja, sending soldiers in the name of Nigeria to go and kill people in the eastern parts, and generally molesting everybody. We saw what happened in Lagos the other day, that Yoruba people came out to demonstrate their support for their self-determination. And they grabbed them, they're still holding them, talking about bail of 300,000 and shorty, all kinds of nonsense. So how do we end this trauma? The answer is simple. Let us demonstrate that we have rejected this constitution by now prevailing on the political parties to shut down, to close shop, because all of what they are doing, no matter the color of their party, whether it's a PDP or APC or ABGA or Youth Party, the young people listening, I want you to listen carefully, particularly the ones that championed the NSAS protest. This address is particularly for you because it is your future that has been mortgaged under that constitution that we're discussing. It's your future that has been sold by those who know the truth, but yet swear to defend and uphold this constitution every 4 years, inviting you to election, inviting you to come and take PVC now. That PVC is plastic. Elections we have seen in Nigeria are dependent on metal fabrication called AK-47. They give you PVC, inviting you to a battle of AK-47, which is what you see on election day. They're just deceiving you. It is that caliphate that imposed this constitution that is struggling, knowing that the rest of us have pulled back our signature they implanted falsely on the constitution. They imputed to us as the authors of our damnation. The caliphate knows that. Their British sponsors know that. So they are struggling to save this constitution from being decommissioned, from being defeated openly, from being taken down. And therefore, they're inviting you to election in 2023. The choice you have to make is whether you want to go to renew the life of this constitution further, or you want to join those who have taken this trouble through the last 21 years to bring the matter to where this constitution is taken down. If you want to be part of that so that you can understand, there are illustrations here. I'm sure you hear about Domino 1 and Domino 2 all the time. This is the action to which you are being invited. We reject this union of death. But if we say, oh, it must end now, and we declare our republic, we are likely to get into what happened with Eastern Nigeria in 1967. We don't have the jet fighters at the moment. We don't have all of the missiles required, the warships that may be required. So we said, this constitution that is the basis of this union is something that has our signature. And so, can we organize ourselves to where we actually say to the scene of the whole world that we didn't make it and insist on it because it's a forgery, as long as it is taking its life from that falsehood that we made it when we know we didn't make it. They say we solemnly resolved, we the people solemnly resolved. We know we never met. And they say we met, agreed to be in union of indissoluble nature, and therefore make and give unto ourselves the following constitution. That whole content, that lie, those two lies, three big lies that are contained in that preamble, in the name of God, they actually cited God. Say, indivisible union under God. How can a society be lying to itself and putting the name of God at the center of it? Are we still surprised that the calamities and catastrophes visiting Nigeria? That is where it's coming from. That we lie to ourselves and we are killing people to sustain that lie. And so we said that constitution that has our signature is something that is within our reach to pull down by rejecting it. And we've done everything we need to do democratically to reject it. Those solemn assemblies that happened in Port Harcourt in 2015, in Ibadan in 2017, in Makurdi in 2018, these were the points at which we repudiated the constitution formally. The 12 contiguous states that imposed Sharia were the first to repudiate because Nigeria was supposed to be a secular union, and the constitution, as bad as it is, in section 10 says there shall be no state religion, either federal or state. Those 12 states, knowing of that provision, because that's the provision that makes Nigeria a secular state, and so in pulling out, in imposing Sharia, they seceded from that secular union. But we have no quarrel with that. They have exercised their own right to self-determination. The rest of us, the New South, the Alliance Territory, which is the New South that includes Middle Belt, mostly Christians, have now stepped into our own right to self-determination by the action of December 16, 2020. And so, in rejecting this union, we have repudiated this constitution. And we now come to this force majeure in saying that no further national elections will be tolerated in the Alliance Territory under this constitution. And the three of us are the ones you see here. So we call this one Domino 1 because As at December 16, 2020, all of us, the Lower Niger, the Southwestern Yoruba Land, and the Middle Belt, were now poised together to take down this election. Our own people who want to be president, we saw the governors gathered in Lagos the other day, governors of the South running their mouth about how they want to be president. We asked them, under which constitution, under what arrangement would that president govern? Was Obasanjo not president? Was Jonathan not president? How did they fare? How much more now that everything has been seized from us, and whoever is going to become that president will be the nominee of that north, that caliphate north, that Sharia north. In any event, who tells you they are going to election with you to produce a president that will have 10 or 4 years? What we have ongoing, for which reason we are making this broadcast, is that having defeated this constitution, this caliphate, this Sharia belt that is driving a conquest mission, is eager to find a way to deceive us into going towards election so that they can have enough time left in their watch now to carry on with their conquest mission. That is what is going on. If we are foolish enough, if we are stupid enough to go with them in that journey to nowhere, to say it is turn of South to be president under this constitution, we are only saving this union of death for them to complete their conquest mission. And so we invite us to look directly at the political parties operating in this alliance territory, all of them, since we know that they are all complicit in subscribing to this constitution of death, this toxic constitution that has erected this union of death. We now have to confront them. We have to prevail on them by whatever means. They are our cousins, they are our brothers, they are our sisters who want to be president and governor and senator in 2023. We must now question them. By what constitution are you going to govern? That will be different from the 36 states imposed. That will be different from the 68 items on exclusive list that make it impossible for us, that seize all our assets and put in the hands of people who do not wish us well. By what constitution are you going to govern that will turn off the type of corruption instituted by this constitution in giving the spare keys of the treasury to the heads of the executive branch? By what constitution are you going to govern that will not have this immunity that protects those who are beneficiaries of corruption for all times? By what constitution are you going to govern that will now upturn the provision of section 6, subsection 6C, by which the government is absolved of obligation towards the citizen in the social contract that the constitution is supposed to be? So all these things, by which constitution are you going to govern that will remove the 33 years of immunity instituted by section 6, subsection 6D of this constitution? That is all the atrocities by which Nigeria was brought to where it is now were given immunity. The jurisdiction of the court was withdrawn from being able to probe into that immediate past, whereas people are still being chased around for their role in the Nazi war crime of the time against the Jews. So we're saying that all of this and that is the foundation of the impunity we lament. Both that section 6, subsection 6D, and the section 308 that now offer blanket immunity to all of those who are the beneficiaries of the corruption guaranteed by this constitution. So everything put together, we should be asking those people from our own communities who want to go and become governor and president under this constitution, by what constitution are you going to govern? Let the young people lead this charge in asking that question. Let the lawyers in the land be confronted wherever they turn up. Let those who are inviting you to go and get PVC now for election be confronted. Ask them, by what constitution will the winner govern? If it is this constitution, then no. Let us stop now. Go to transition and rework the basis of the union. It is when we begin to do that will come to this. This is what the domino tool we talk about all the time. When we say no to this election of 23, we knock it down. Because it is the constitution we are rejecting, the constitution goes down. And because that constitution guarantees this union of misery, the unitary union is not Nigeria, the federation that we are quarreling with. It is Nigeria, the unitary, country that was imposed by decree since 1967 that we are rejecting. Everybody who have been talking about restructuring and all kinds of changes and the constitutional arrangements, their demand is simple, that we go back to union of agreement. And that agreement is entirely up to us to arrive at by meeting. It's not by writing one constitution. I see lawyers who go about drafting constitution that will be taken to National Assembly as better constitution. No, there are two businesses to be done. The owners of the sovereignties must sit down and agree on on whether they want to associate in terms of being in one political union, especially with the Sharia that has come into the equation, in which adherents owe it a duty of faith to kill others as infidels, and the feudalism that reigns supreme in the midst of those adherents of Sharia. They don't believe that all men are born equal. They tell us our faces they are born to rule us. And you see them, so as an infidel, you already have earned your death sentence. They owe it a duty of faith to kill you. As a slave, in that feudal mindset they have, as you ask for democracy, you are challenging your master. That is how they look at it. So the master can kill his slave. So that is what we are inviting you to. And so we speak directly. We woke up yesterday, I think it was 18th or 19th of July, to see a video in which this same caliphate, this same Sharia North, were now projecting on Shibajo, who they've kept in the cooler all the while as vice president. They are now presenting him as the one who had to go and be president in 2023, as the anointed for 2023. The caliphate is struggling very desperately to preserve this constitution. So the choice will have to be made by Oshibajo personally at this time, whether he will lend himself to that caliphate to preserve this constitution by being their candidate for the election of 2023, which all of us are rejecting. Oshibajo has to make that decision by himself. Nobody else will make that decision for him. Whether he wants to be on the side of his people who are struggling to take down this constitution and recover their life and their sovereignty and their future, or he wants to be at the service of that caliphate that want to keep this constitution but exterminate his people and become the owners of their sovereignty permanently. So I think everything put together, the voyage to 2023 has to be ended in the third quarter of 2021 as a strategy for ending the fraud of 1999. The voyage of 2023, the electoral voyage of 2023, that's preparations, must be terminated inside the third quarter of 2021 as a strategy for ending the fraud of 1999. I would think that if we listen now, we can save ourselves the trauma of having to face the AK-47 wielding Fulani herdsmen who are marching towards our space, but who rely entirely on our foolishness, on our ignorance, for being able to do that. Because every day we leave this constitution standing, we're empowering them to come get us. Thank you very much.